Hey guys, welcome to this really fun TFL Unfiltered Real World Buddy Review, and there are three buddies that are going to be reviewing this brand new Infiniti QX50. Who's behind the camera?
It's Mike!
And there's a special surprise guest reviewer, professional reviewer waiting for us. But let's talk about what makes this Infiniti special, Mike, and that is what's under the hood, because there's something really cool under the hood. I think it's the only thing of its kind in the entire automotive world. But before we get to that, give them a quick walk around. And guys, before this review is over, we're going to give it a TFL buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it rating. And we're going to take it both on the highway, give you a 0 to 60 on a rough road to see how it rides, and in general, take you along for the ride. But Mike, what's so special about this VC Turbo?
Well, VC, Roman, stands for variable compression because this is a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder with a variable compression ratio. So,
what's that?
Infiniti can run it anywhere from an 8-to-1 compression ratio for better power to 14-to-1 compression ratio for better efficiency. And the way they do that is they change the stroke of the piston. So, shorter stroke is more efficient, less power. Longer stroke, more power, but less efficient.
All right, so what power does this bad boy put out? How much horsepower and how much torque? 268
horsepower, 280 pound-feet of torque, and it's all-wheel drive with a CVT, a continuously variable transmission. But that makes it more efficient. Gets 24 mpg in the city, 30 mpg on the highway for 26 mpg combined.
Well, there's some really kind of quirky things about this car. Let's start with this. Check this out. Look at this. This is the hood latch, and look how far that hood latch is from the grill. But that's not the only quirky thing, Mike. This is even quirkier. I think it's one of the few cars I know where it actually closes over, as the British would say, the wing. Check that out.
Look that is super bizarre, dude.
Yeah, and then there's this weird combination of curves and diagonal lines. Why don't you show them and kind of explain what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's kind of a case of, like, you know, you have long straight lines, but then these kind of curvy body panels. So here's a long straight line, but the hood itself is kind of curved, right? And then if you come along the side, it's the same with that panel, that line that starts from the hood, right? You have this really long straight body line, but then the side is actually curvy, right? If you come to the back, this little window piece right here, it's kind of a point, but then the piece of metal itself is actually curved, and even at the back it's the same thing. There's this really long, well, what does that look like to you, Roman?
Dude, that reminds me of a katana, which is of course a Japanese samurai sword.
Exactly, and I think the Infiniti logo shows it off the best, actually. Look, you have a point and a round logo.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so why don't I take the camera from you, and Mike, how tall are you?
I'm 6'2", Roman.
Well, let's see how much room is in the back of this car in the only way that we know how, which is by putting somebody back. And guess who else is in here?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, it's Nathan and Michael. So Michael, how much room do you have?
I have a lot of room, dude. Look, there's a good, I don't know, 3-4 inches between my knees and Nathan's seat. Tons of headroom too.
Yeah, headroom's really good, even with this giant sunroof.
Yeah, huge sunroof.
All right, I think it's time to take it for a ride, boys. So
buckle up here first.
Yeah, let me come over here, start up the car, because we're probably boiling in here. Nathan, what do you think of the interior, dude?
I think it's a beautiful interior. There's a very interesting motif going on here, which reminds me a little bit of Mercedes-Benz. And remember, Infiniti actually has a partnership with Mercedes-Benz on another vehicle, so it's not completely out of the realm of possibilities that they got a little bit of this from Mercedes. Look at this metal. This really does remind me of stuff that's in Mercedes, especially look at the speaker cover right here. The stitching in the car is immaculate. Beautiful up here, beautiful on the doors. Really, really well laid out. But there are a couple issues. Right here is where it begins, and that is these two screens, which are very small. Actually, they're kind of misleading. Show them, Roman.
Yeah, I mean, you think that this is a completely...
you think this whole thing's a screen.
Yeah, but it isn't, because this part right there is actually kind of just black, and then the screen is actually much smaller.
Yeah, it's tiny.
It's tiny.
So these two screens are not exactly intuitive, and yeah, the bottom line is they're small.
And let me show you this thing. This is kind of weird too. This is the drive select, and to go backward, you have to hit a button over here. Then you go
back.
you go forward to go backward, and to go backward, to go forward, you have to pull it backward. It's just a really, like, very German and not greatly intuitive.
Yeah, it's counterintuitive, and there's a P for park. The point is, why make this so complex? It's completely overly complex. And the other thing is, while you're driving, if you do happen to hit the gear lever by accident, yeah, you'll knock it into neutral.
Yeah, I want to show you guys something. This is kind of the cool part right here. Check it out. We put it in park. It's got the variable compression turbo, and here you can actually see what compression stroke you're in.
Yep.
Yeah, is it efficient or is it powerful? And speaking of powerful, why don't we do a 0 to 60, Nathan?
Yeah, let's hit it.
Here, Michael, take the phone,
I'll take the phone.
and let's go do our patented TFL test loop.
Yeah, test loop with 3 fairly heavy individuals inside the car. So keep that in mind, guys. This is real world testing.
Now, Nathan, I think people are wondering how much this car costs, because it competes with the cars. I think the biggest direct competitor would be the Lexus NX, but the price is more of an RX, right? The Lexus NX is the one that falls underneath the RX in terms of its size.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is a little bit on the pricey side. I have a feeling the tech of the engine is part of the reason why. This starts at around 45 and change, but this one, its MSRP is $49,685.
Just shy of 50, man.
Yeah, that's a pricey car for the size. Now, because of that, this puts it into a different league. It actually is competing with vehicles from Mercedes-Benz, from BMW, and of course Lexus, but no longer the NX, which is about this size. It's the RX, which is the most popular vehicle in its own category.
All right, boys, so let's do a bit of a bet. Will this reach 60 in under 10 seconds? What do you think, Mike?
Oh, I don't know.
How about you, Nathan?
Yeah, I think it'll do.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So we are 3 big guys.
Let's go into sport mode, by the way.
Let's do sport mode. We are a mile above sea level.
I don't know if that'll make that much of a difference, but
And we are merging onto the highway. And we've got we've got it set up here. So I just got to stop for a second, and I'm going to get honked at. So hopefully, come on, reset.
There it goes.
Here we go. All right, clear
That's
road
what
ahead. I'm floored, dude. Floored.
this engine is a jewel. It is so sparky.
And listen to that
Ready to go.
CVT purr.
There you go, boys.
Hey, let me see that.
9.36.
That's
Yeah.
not bad. That's actually under 10. Wow.
Yeah,
Look at that.
Sport mode.
One
Yeah.
mile, a mile above sea level, 3 big guys. Now, one of the things I always like to test is, of course, the voice activation.
Oh God, here we go.
Because it never works. But let's give it a shot. Let's see if we can navigate to my favorite place, Stars. It's a lunch place, okay?
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
To start voice recognition,
Oh boy.
push and release the talk switch.
Didn't we do that already?
I just did. I'll do it again.
You can interrupt voice prompts and speak a command immediately
Navigation.
by pushing the talk switch.
Navigation.
Navigation.
All right.
Please say or select a navigation command from the displayed list.
Navigate the Snarfs.
Please say again.
Oh no.
Navigate the Snarfs.
Please say again.
It wants us to say one of
Pick
these
from the
things.
list. Yeah.
Points of interest.
Points of interest.
Pausing voice recognition.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, boy.
Push the talk
gosh.
switch to continue.
Guys, we are so far from Alexa and Siri there that it's not even funny, right?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, eventually you can navigate around most cars, but you have to understand the idiosyncratic way it's set up. This car, I think, is relatively easy, but you still got to get to points of interest, and then you got to go to restaurants. Then you get there, and even then, not so well.
And speaking of Siri and Alexa, Michael, do we get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto?
No.
We don't.
No, not at all.
Dude, we just did a Kia Forte that cost half this, and it had it.
Yeah, this it does have Bluetooth connectivity, so you can hook up your phone for music, but
Sure.
no Android Auto, no Apple CarPlay on either of those touchscreens up there.
Yeah, that's a problem. Even Toyota now has the option, so I don't know. That's something that they definitely need for this car.
And the other thing that it doesn't have actually is a direct connection between the
God.
steering wheel and the front wheels. It's got drive or steer by wire, Nathan.
Yeah, it is. It is basically an entirely electronic system that feeds the front wheels when it comes to turning left or right. And unfortunately, what that means is a lack of feel.
Yeah, there's no direct connection, and you can tell. Now we're coming up to our rough road here, so let's talk about how well this dampens all these imperfections and bumps. I think it's actually really good.
It's really good. It's an excellent trade-off between being a little sporty and yet having a decent ride, because these are some pretty nasty little bumps around here, and it mutes them beautifully.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's very comfortable, and I feel like the car is not out of control. I don't think it's transmitting any harshness into the cabin. It's just doing a really good job.
And hey, let's all not talk for a second and hear how quiet it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty quiet. Yeah, that's quiet.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
very quiet.
there you go.
We didn't have the wand or anything else.
Next time.
Next time.
Next time we'll bring the wand and actually show you a decibel number versus just having you listen to it. So the other question I want to ask you is, in general, would you get this over, let's say, a Lexus NX?
Okay, so let's say the NX was the same price as
Right.
this, okay? Because, I mean, you are talking about some upgrades.
They both
here.
have turbos.
Yes.
Right? But this has a variable compression turbo.
I love this engine. I really, truly do. And you know what? I have a feeling my wife would absolutely love this vehicle. The way it's designed, the way it feels inside. It's snooty, but it's not super snooty. And she also likes to go really fast. And this engine is really good for that. Believe me, my insurance tells me that all
So
the time.
answer the question.
Yes for her, me not so much.
How about you, Michael?
Ooh, I actually like the design on this better than the NX.
I agree there too.
But the CVT really kills me. It just hurts my soul sometimes. I don't know. It's a really tough question, but I love this design. I think this is the sharper looking vehicle.
Well, you guys already discussed MPG, right? And one of the things is that CVTs are supposed to yield better MPG results, right? That's the initial reason for building them.
Mm-hmm.
But nowadays you have transmissions that perform as well, if not better, which are automatic transmissions.
Yeah, there's
7, 8, and 9, 10 gear, you know.
A 10-speed transmission performs as well, I think, as a CVT. And, you know, Germans, who I think we can all agree build some of the most
Well engineered.
well-engineered and some of the most satisfying cars from a driver's perspective.
Oh, engaging, yeah.
They don't do CVTs, dude. I think there was once upon a time Audi had a CVT. And that's-
Volkswagen had a CVT a long time ago.
Right, but now there's no German vehicle you can buy in America that has a CVT, and yet Japanese are in love with it, right? Every Japanese manufacturer has not just doubled down, but tripled down, and the one that's tripled down the most is this one.
Is Nissan.
Infiniti Nissan.
Nissan
yeah.
was one of the first out of the gate to really embrace CVTs and invest heavily into them. And frankly, they've improved. They're much better, a little bit more engaging. This car is fun to drive, I will say. But is it better than an automatic? I don't think so.
Yeah, and I know people are going to say I'm harping away at it because I always say it's like having a pillow underneath my foot between the accelerator. I do have paddle shifters that I can fake shift with, you know, and you know, Nathan, I like things that are real. I don't like fake engine node. I don't like, you know, a transmission that pretends to be a regular transmission. Just give me the real thing, right?
Right, I get you.
All right, now this car has really one unusual feature, which is a massive emblem at the front.
It is huge.
So Nathan, we got this.
Yeah, baby.
And we're back at the office, so let's go outside, and before we give them our buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it, let's go and actually measure how big that is. I think the biggest automotive emblem is on a Volkswagen bus. Remember those things? Those were like the size of a dinner plate.
Yeah, they were
huge.
pretty big, but
Yeah.
nowadays you got some pickup trucks out there that have massive ones.
Well, let's go check it out.
Absolutely.
Let's go see how big this is. And we'll,
I also like the fact that my butt doesn't have to scooch up or down too far to get in and out of the car. It's pretty comfortable. All right. Oh, get tired right when the truck comes.
that's okay.
Let's have a look.
real world review.
All right, so right about there. So I'm going to say this is about 10 inches wide.
That's a massive, massive emblem. You know, guys, you could say a lot about Infiniti, but one of the things that I think absolutely holds true is that the styling is absolutely unique. There's nothing else in the automotive world that's like this, right?
They've managed to really maintain their own identity without going crazy.
Yeah, so keeping that in mind, Nathan, on the TFL buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it scale, what would you give it?
I would lease it for my wife so that way I wouldn't get charged too much with insurance when she crashes it.
All right, how about you, Michael?
I'm gonna lease it because there's one thing that kills it for me, dude. It's 3 letters.
CVT.
RSC?
CVT. No, it's CVT.
Oh,
CVT.
that's a different
CVT.
And you know, for me, the second a car gets a CVT, it gets knocked down from buy it to lease it automatically. I think you're right. The engine brings it up, the styling brings it up, but it just doesn't bring it up high enough for me to get past the CVT. So we've got 3 leases. 3 leases is it. Yes. Guys, thanks so much for watching. As always, this is Nathan,
Mike.
and Roman saying check out TFLcar.com for more news, views, and what?
Real world reviews.
Guys, check it out next time. And Michael, take it away.